Now let's look at the equation of a line. So the first equation of the line, which is called the point slope form. So in this form, we need a point. We need to know a point, and we also need the slope. If we have a point and the slope of straight lines, we can always write an equation of this line. So now let's derive it. So if you have a straight line, and we know the point here is this is x1, y1, and the slope is m. Slope is equal to m. This we know. Okay, so we want to, if we pick up arbitrary point, okay, it could be here, could be here. We pick an arbitrary point, we denote it on the line, we denote it by xy. If we can find the relation between x, y, that is called the equation of the line, right? So if we have x, y, so we can always use these 2 points to find the slope. So the slope m is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. Right? Since x and y are given, m and y1 and x1 are given, so this one actually form equation in 2 variables, right? So let's rewrite. This can be written as we multiply x minus x1 on both sides, so it becomes y minus y1 equals m times parentheses x minus x1. So we always have students forget this parentheses. This is called the point slope form. So this is the equation of a straight line. The form is called the point slope form. So you need to memorize this form. So now let's look at, in other words, if we know a point xy, x1, y1, and we know the slope, then we just plug in to get the equation. Okay, so let's look at this example. If we know a given point, which is 4, 2, and we know the m, the slope is -3 over 2. So what is the equation of the line? Okay, so we have the point. We just plug in here. So it's y minus y1. y1 is this one, right? 2. So equal 2 equals -3 over 2 times x minus x1. x1 is 4 here, right? So that is the equation of the line. This is called the point slope form. Another form is called the slope intercept form. Intercept form. The slope intercept force, what we need? We need the slope m and the y-intercept, which is 0b. If we have these two, we can just, y-intercept is also a point, right, on the line. So we just plug in here, plug into the point slope form. It will give you the slope intercept form we plug in. So this is the y minus y1, y1 is b, equals m times x minus x1, x1 equals 0, right? This is the point slope form. Then let's rewrite it. This y minus b equals mx, right? This implies that. Then we continue, y equals mx plus b. So this is called the slope intercept form. And here m represent what? Represent the slope. B is the y-intercept, right? This is called the slope intercept form. So now let's look at example. So we want to find, given m equals 3 and the point 1, 2, 1, negative 2 point. This line with the slope 3 and going through the point 1, negative 2. Then we need to find the slope intercept form. So to find the slope intercept form, we know if we have the intercept, then we are done, right? But however, we have no intercept. We don't, because the y-intercept, because the x-coordinate is not equal to 0, right? So we can start from the point slope form. Okay, so it becomes y minus y1, which is negative 2, equals 3, which is m, right? Times x minus x1, which is 1. So this is the point slope form. Point slope form. But this is not the slope intercept form. How do we do that? How do we get the slope intercept form? So we just need to solve for y. We write y equals something, right? So before that, let's simplify it. Y plus 2 equals, we expanded x3x minus 3. Okay, so many students forget we use the distribution law here. So then y equals, we subtract 2, so it becomes 3x minus 5. So that is our answer. This is called the slope intercept form. And this form is the one we often use, right? Y equals something. If you have, we're given 2 points. Given 2 points, okay, which is 5, negative 1, and negative 5, and 5. So we want to find the line through these 2 points with the slope intercept form. Okay, so we have 2 points, and we don't know the slope, right? We don't know the intercept, so we cannot use in the slope intercept form directly. So most time, we cannot get the slope intercept form directly. We should start always from the point slope form. So point slope form, we still need a point and a slope, right? Point, we have 2 points, we just pick arbitrary one. What about the slope? Slope, since we have 2 points, we can always use the formula to find the slope. Slope is what? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? So if this is x1, x2, and this is the second point is x2 and y2, and then it would be y2 is 5 minus negative 1. This is the negative 5 minus 5. So it becomes negative 6 over 10, right? Negative, so it's the negative 3 over 5. So this is our slope. Then we pick arbitrary point. Okay, we pick arbitrary point as the point we are using in the point slope form. So we pick arbitrary point, which, so for example, we just pick the first point, pick 5, negative 1. Okay, so we have y minus y1, which is this one, right? Equals negative 3 over 5. This is the m times x minus 5. So don't forget the parentheses. But this is the point slope form. We need point intercept, a slope intercept form. So we need to solve for y. So let's simplify. Y plus 1 equals negative 3 over 5x plus 3, right? We subtract 1. So this is negative 3 over 5x minus a plus 2. So from this equation, we can identify the slope directly, which is negative 3 over 5, and the y-intercept is 2. So this is the slope-intercept form. There are some special cases. Okay, there are some special cases. If you have a vertical line, we have no slope, right? For example, this is the 4 vertical line. So what is the equation for this vertical line? We have no slope, so we cannot use the point slope form, right? So the equation of the line is actually x equals 4, because all the points has no restrictions on y coordinates, right? The only restriction is the x coordinate must be 4, so this is x equals 4. So if you have a horizontal line, the slope is 0, right? The slope is 0 if you have the point slope form. It must be equal to, this is 0, so this term is 0, so y equals y1. y1 is the y coordinate on the line for the point, right? If we have a point, if this is 5, so the y coordinate of this point is always 5, so this is y equals 5. So that represents a horizontal line. This x equals a number represent a vertical line. So now let's summarize it. We have if we have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, so this is called the point slope form. If you have y equals mx plus b, this is called slope intercept form. And we also have at the beginning, we say the straight line can be written as ax plus by equal plus c equals 0. This is called the general form or the standard form. Sometimes we call it standard form. And we also have y equals a number. So all the points have the same y coordinates that represent a horizontal line. And we also have x equals a number a. All the points have the same x coordinate, so it must be a vertical line. Okay, so now let's look at the relation between two lines. Parallel line. So the parallel lines means if you have two lines, they will never intersect each other. So these two lines, if this is line 1 and this is line 2, okay, and the slope is m1, this is m2. So if you have two lines, they will never intersect. So the slope of m, so if then we say these two lines are parallel. And the parallel means if we're using the slope to describe the parallel lines, it means these two lines must have the same slope. Right? The steepness is the same, so they will never intersect. They will never intersect. The next one is called the perpendicular line. If you have two lines perpendicular to each other, so that means the intersection angle is a right angle, 90 degrees. If this is the m1 slope, m2, then we say if a line 1 is perpendicular, we use this symbol to denote two lines are perpendicular to each other. It means the slope, the product of the slope m1 times f2 must be equal to -1, so you should know that. Okay, so now let's look at an example. We need to find given a straight line, the first thing is we need to find the slope-intercept form of a line through the points 2, 1 and parallel to the line 4x minus 2y equals 3. So when we start to calculate a line, so the two things we should know, right? We always start from the point slope form. So we need to know a point and the slope. So now we have the point 2, 1 point. And the slope we are using this condition parallel to this line. So if we can find, so in other words, this new line have the same slope as the 4x minus 2y equals 3, right? So the next thing is we need to determine the slope of this 4x minus 2y equals 3. So the idea is if you can write this as a slope-intercept form, then the coefficient of x would be the slope automatically, right? So now let's look at this one. Let's write 4x minus 2y equals 3. So let's solve it for y. So we subtract 4x on both sides. So it would be negative 2y equals negative 4x plus 3, right? Then we divide by negative 2. So y equals 2x minus 3 over 2. So this is the slope-intercept form, right? The slope-intercept form, you can get the slope directly from the coefficient, the number in front of x. This is called the coefficient of x. So our slope, m equals m1 equals 2, right? So since our new line should be parallel to this line, so m2 is also equal to 2. Okay, so we have our new line still have the slope 2, and we have the point 2, 1, so we can use the point slope form. So y minus y1, so which is 1 here, equals m2, which is 2 times x minus 2. So this is the point slope form. So the question is ask you to find the slope-intercept form. So y minus 1 equals 2x minus 4. So y equals 2x minus 3. So you can see these two lines. Okay, these two lines are parallel, right? Because they have the same slope too. But y-intercept are different, right? So they are different lines, but parallel to each other. The second question is, we still go through the point 2, 1, but perpendicular. To the line 4x minus 2y equals 3. Okay, so perpendicular, so we want to using this condition to get the slope of our new line, right? So we know that this one, 4x minus 2y is equal to 3. We just get this is the negative 2y equals negative 4x plus 3, and y equals 2x minus 3 over 2, right? So our m1 equals 2, right? So our new line have the slope m2 should multiply by m1 is equal, must be, since it's perpendicular, must be equal to negative 1. So it gives you that m2 equals what? Negative 1 over m1. So if you plug in m1, so this one would be negative 1/2. So we have the slope, we have the point, we can use the point slope form. So we have y minus y1 is equal to negative 1/2 times x minus 2. So this is the point slope form, but we need the point in slope intercept form. So we solve here for y. So y minus 1 equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. So we add 1 on both sides. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. So that is the point slope intercept form for the perpendicular line through the point 1 to 1 point.